Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer RANT. And today, I'm going to be reviewing another superhero comic book movie, because that's what I've been reviewing a lot lately, so I thought, what the hell, I guess I'll go for another one. Boy, is the film I'll be talking about today, folks, because why not? And even though it's a lot of garbage, I can say that right now. I'm not even a minute into this video, I'm not saying it's garbage. So yeah, folks. Yeah, this is definitely a low effort type of a movie that was produced. Of course, they're clearly making it geared to the whole family and whatnot, despite maybe some crude humor here and there. But it's not really all that bad, really, in terms of adult content, I guess. Or should I say, mature content, I guess. It's not all that bad, I suppose. But still, they're hardly mix up for anything, really. Suppose that this had a good budget. I mean, really? I don't see it. Where did it go? It looks pretty cheaply made, if you ask me, but okay, whatever. Yeah, folks, this is something I definitely did not want to talk about because it's bad. It's really bad. But yeah, folks, I figured I would do this since, superhero stuff seems to be like a hot topic or whatever. And I've spoken about superhero stuff before anyway, so it's just whatever. I mean, I want to talk about some other stuff too, of course, but still. And I actually bought this from the dollar store. Yeah, that's where I bought this. Yep, more crap from the dollar store. Again. Oh boy. When will I learn? I guess. Stop buying junk food over there. And this is definitely junk food. Oh boy. So anyway, as usual, I have to talk about the plot, so let's get into it, shall we, I guess? So of course, typically, it's an origin story, of course. So yeah, we're gonna see how Ant Boy becomes an Ant Boy. An Ant Boy, because, yes, he's an outsider, like we haven't seen that before. The main character is this 12-year-old boy, and he's, of course, bitten by this ant, of course. And he develops some superpowers, of course. And he has a friend whom is a nerd, of course. And of course, our main character creates a secret identity as superhero Ant Boy, of course. And yes, of course, we get to see the super villain enters the scene, coincidentally enough. So it's up to our main character, of course, to stop the bad guy. Because the bad guy is doing bad guy stuff just for the sake of bad guy stuff. Why is he bad? I don't know, and the movie said so. Yep, the plot said so. Only because the plot said to do it, of course. That's like the bad guy's doing bad stuff, really. That's it. That's it, really. So yeah. Ah, shit. It's Mr. Monkey. How many times do I have to tell you I'm not gonna buy you this track? Yeah, here's my to-do list right here, folks. Okay, man. Alright? Yeah, that's what you get. Yeah, folks, this movie was not very good. It's basically, I guess at the end of the day, it's the same old, same old. It does the same thing like a lot of other superhero movies do. It doesn't try to do anything original. It's the same recycled stuff. And yeah, I did not like it, folks, at all. I really did not like this film as a whole, but it's extremely cliched. It has lots of cliched, combinations, I guess you can say, in regards to how the plot is. It's kind of the whole idea. Oh, I want to be noticed. I want to be less ordinary. Nobody knows how it exists. Yada yada yada. And of course, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Spider-Man in a lot of ways, in terms of the origin story. I mean, but yeah, and of course, this has really, really, really poor dubbing. The English dubbing is really bad in this. I mean, holy hell, the English dubbing is bad. And people have the nerve to make fun of the English dubbed versions of these kaiju films, these Japanese monster movies from Japan, for having bad dubbing. But this movie gets an exception here? Oh, okay. Oh, I realize that. People might be telling me that, oh, it's a kid's movie, yada yada. No, 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 no. It's still crap, okay? It's still crap. If anything, at the end of the day, this has to be one of the most generic, unoriginal, uninspiring, uninteresting comic book movies I've ever seen. It's just bland, like a flavorless gum that I will buy at the dollar store. So yeah, just no. I mean, the music itself isn't too bad. I guess some of the acting is decent. and some of I guess the overall film was choreographed in a decent way, I guess. But as for everything else throughout the entire movie, just falls flat. Pretty subpar at best. The pacing isn't very good, and yeah, just didn't like how the overall plot was set up in a lot of ways. The characters aren't exactly fleshed out, neither is the premise of the movie really, and I didn't like how the story was set up in a lot of ways because it felt like it was nothing important really, like at all. Some of the character decisions that they made throughout the entire movie doesn't really make any sense. I mean, that's not to say that the film doesn't pick up any ideas, like metaphors, or any kind of more dilemma, in any kind of way. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. Unfortunately, like the good complex question, how can a kid like this, he's almost hitting puberty, how can someone be like him, be experiencing superhero stuff? Should he have a more normal life? Was he Mars here? So there is some potential here. However, the problem here is that ideas such as this are quickly abandoned as soon as they pick them up. So, yeah. One of the biggest problems I have with this film is the main characters. Well, okay, all the characters. None of the characters are well developed at all, even the main character. So, yeah, just a pretty boring movie as a whole. In other words, folks, I did not like what they were doing with this whole idea. In other words, I guess it just came off like that. Maybe they didn't care, really. At least that's how it came off to me, anyway. I know I need to review the actual version, the Danish version, but the looks of it is basically the same movie, but it's just dubbed in English. So it won't really make much of a difference if I watched it in its original language. So yeah, there was that, of course, folks. But yeah, overall, as you can see, I'm really displeased with what they were trying to do with this movie as a whole. But yeah, I just didn't like it. Did not like what was going on, folks, at all. But yeah, and I felt like there's no real sense of mystery at all, of course. And of course, the entire cast isn't really noteworthy, really. I mean, the acting is okay at points, I guess. But the overall acting is pretty bland as a whole. And a lot of the scenes that happen throughout the entire movie doesn't really further the plot by any means. But it just, no, they could have, there's so much that they could have done to improve the movie as a whole. But they didn't. They really, really didn't at all. And also, there's not much of a story really, per se. For what it does have, it's very paper thin. Of course, not that I was expecting much of a story, really, in terms of like having some sort of complex, deep, meaningful meaning and whatnot. Obviously, that does not excuse laziness. I know some people keep telling me that, oh, it's for kids, like I said a moment ago. But again, just because it's something aimed for kids doesn't necessarily mean it has to be garbage at all. But yeah, there's not a whole lot going on in terms of plot, really, and the characters as well, because as I was saying earlier, the characters themselves are very one-dimensional. There's no real growth story-wise when it comes to these types of characters in the entire movie. But yeah, I didn't like it at all. I really did not like this movie whatsoever. I don't recommend it because it's terrible. And it might not be the worst superhero movie ever made, but it is pretty terrible. Even the writing. Yes, when it comes to writing, I'm referring to the dubbing, but the writing in the dubbed version is pretty bad. But yeah, the dialogue is pretty bad. It's horrendously awful. So that really ruined it for me as well because of that. And another huge problem I had with this film is that there's next to no action in the entire movie. And yeah, there's not much, really a whole lot of fighting at all. At the very least, not enough of it, as far as I'm concerned, because it's just focusing on some other stuff. And not that I was expecting him to fight off a bunch of people at first, sure, but because again, this is supposed to be the character's origin story, okay. But they could have slipped in some more action, as in, fighting sequences throughout the entire movie. And I thought the action that it does have, it's pretty choreographed in a lot of ways. And yeah, as you can see, folks, I'm just really displeased with this film. It was not a well-made movie at all. I understand that this was aimed at a certain demographic of people, which in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing per se, sure. But still, it's just that it was not a well put together film, like, at all. There's very little action in this movie, and the pacing isn't very good, and if anything, I was just very bored. Very, very bored watching the entire thing. And this movie got really good reviews. I mean, are you kidding me? This is all it takes for a movie to be good? That's it? I mean, really, people? That's all this takes? Whatever. Seems like something I would never watch again because, like I said, it's garbage. And yeah, I can't say I like the direction in which they were going with this, really. It could have been a good movie. Yeah, of course. I see potential in a lot of movies. Even if they're utter garbage, I still see some potential somewhere. And that's the thing. I like to look at movies from some perspective to see if have any potential of any kind. Most of the time, yes, I can see it. Most of the time, but like in this case, I do see how it could have been good, but it just could have. It just no. It was not a well-made movie as a whole because the people who behind this film well definitely it felt half-assed. Is what I'm saying. It feels extremely half-assed. So there's that. Anyway, I'll give this film an overall rating of a 4.8 out of 10. It gets a 4.8 out of 10 for me. And as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah, later.